Raj, are you there?
Yes, Rajnikant. So yeah, hey all, good evening, and thanks to each and everyone who have took your time out of your busy schedules on a Sunday evening to make this happen. And before we do, I would like to begin by stating the mission of Toastmasters International. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and speakers. Since due to the turbulent times we are meeting online, there are some virtual meeting etiquette that needs to be followed. And whenever you're not speaking, please ensure you're on mute. And it is advisable to turn on your videos. But when you're moving out of the camera view, please ensure the video is turned off so that the speakers doesn't get distracted. And last but not the least, ensure that you're not talking on topics which are restricted by Toastmasters International, such as politics, religion, and sex. On that note, I would like to hand over the control to the area director, Toastmaster Chishti.
Thank you, Shas. A very warm welcome to dear panelists, conveners, and my fellow Toastmasters. I have read so many quotations on being successful and success whatsoever, but having read all those, I have tried to coin something for myself. I've always felt that success intoxicates, and being successful is the most desired intoxication that everyone aspires for. But do you ever realize what could be the differentiators between a commoner and a successful individual? How do these ordinary people become so extraordinary and achieve something that great? Well, the basic differentiator that I have always seen is that they know themselves. They are aware of themselves. When we say aware, they know the boundaries. They know the capabilities. And they also know what they don't have. In a nutshell, it is about knowing yourself to make yourself a better individual. The million-dollar question in front of us today is, do we know ourselves? Folks, on this note, let me welcome you to the Golden Ticket series, which is brought to you by the Area G3. A ticket that takes you to a journey into deepest fathoms of your inner space to help you locate yourself. A ticket to a journey unlike anything that you have taken so far. A journey of a lifetime. When we say this, it clearly defines what exactly are you? Do you know yourself? To face these answers, to see these answers, know them, let's take this trip and let's make this effort a wonderful one to help us face the most important individual of our lives. We ourselves, each one of us here. En route, we will halt at 12 different stations, and each station will teach us something that will introduce and reintroduce ourselves to us. Today, our journey starts. Welcome to the Golden Ticket. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the journey. A journey to reinvent and rediscover our existence, our purpose, and most importantly, ourselves. Over to you, Zoom Master.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you. So, Manasa, would you like to carry now?
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajnikant. Tide, wait for none. It is always us who have to work around both the time and the tide. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to the first episode of the Golden Ticket series presented by Area G3. It's been 5 months since we have been quarantined at home. In the beginning of the quarantine, we felt like there was an abundance of time. But as time progressed, time is what all of us lacked. It could be because our faculty, bosses, clients might think that you're at home, you can do everything, do it. or maybe it is our time management skills. Let us find out how to manage our time with all of these tasks present in front of us. To help us understand how to manage our time, we have three people who have proven time and again that they are the masters of time management. Since Toastmasters is a platform of diverse members in the community, we also have diversity in the panelists. So we have our three panelists. Our first panelist is Toastmaster Amina. She's a student, a yoga practitioner, and a passionate public speaker. Our second panelist is Toastmaster Dipalika. She's an employee. She's well known for her job as a PR chair, and she is a pro at managing work and family life. Our next panelist is Toastmaster Joy. He is an entrepreneur, he loves running, and he is one of the amazing mentors that the community has to offer. So let us give a huge round of applause to welcome all the panelists to the discussion. A couple days ago, we have reached out to all three of the panelists and asked them one favorite quote of theirs when it comes to time management. So all three of them have given three marvelous quotes. Let us find out why they like those quotes. We'll start with Toastmaster Joy. Please unmute yourself. Toastmaster Joy's favorite quote is, "Don't be fooled by the calendar. There are only as many days in the year as you can make use of." Why do you like this quote, Toastmaster Joy?
I like this quote because, okay, am I audible? I'll just do that mic check a little
Yes,
bit.
yes,
Thank
you
you.
are.
All of us are busy, but all of us are not productive. Many of us think that just because we are busy and we are doing 200 things in a day, we are productive. We get misled with this. This is one of the biggest mistakes which many of us do because we do not prioritize what we are supposed to do. So once I became a Toastmaster, this is one of those quotes which really helped me balance my personal life, my professional life, and my Toastmasters life. And I also live the life of a pastor. So there are 4 jobs that I do on the same day at the same time. It is difficult for me to do that. So I love this quote because I believe that anyone who can plan their day out well is a person who's making their life worthwhile. Don't get fooled that just because you're busy, you are also productive.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. This is something that all of us need to make note of because we have multiple tasks at hand, but many a times we don't know how productive we are being after completion of all of these tasks. Thank you. Next, we have Toastmaster Deepalika's favorite quote, which is, "Many things aren't equal, but everyone gets 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Successful people use it, rest abuse it." Why do you like this quote, Toastmaster Deepalika?
Thank you, Toastmaster Manasa. So I like this quote because this is what makes all the difference, and that is why each one is different from, and each one's working side is different from another. The one thing that is common for everybody, whether it be a rich person or whether it be a beggar, is that everybody is getting 24 hours. As Toastmaster Joy said, it is not necessary that if you are busy, you are productive. I would just add on the same line that it doesn't mean that if you are working for 20 hours a day, you will be successful. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you are planning your work, and if it is really fruitful or if it is working, if it is really helpful for you or not. If it is degrading the quality of what you do, suppose I work for 20 hours, the next day I am sleep deprived and I am not able to focus on my work, then it is not productive. So
deadlines, the to-do list, the tasks, and everything. So that is the reason why I believe in the quote that all time management is planning.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina. Remember how I mentioned in the beginning about all of us being quarantined? Well, one way that I try to make use of my time in quarantine is to learn a new skill. It's been 5 months since I'm still in the trying state. So my question to all of the panelists is how to make use of your time to incorporate learning a new skill into your regular day-to-day life. It's open to all of the panelists. Any person can start answering. Okay, let's start with Toastmaster Deepalika.
Okay, so I have been in quarantine from the past 5 months, and I'm all alone right now. So there's no, my roommates left. I don't have a maid or anything. I have my office work to do. I have work. I have household work to do, and I have Toastmasters work to do as well. One thing that I learned right now in quarantine is that if you plan your day well, you can keep a balance. You can just create a balance among all of these, and you can get an 8 hour sleep as well. You can wrap it up. You can wrap up everything if you want to do that. So the one thing that I learned is, please do not multitask, because you cannot. You have to switch tasks. You just cannot write two things with two hands. It's not possible. It's possible for some people, but not for everyone. And please do not jump from one task to the other. If you are trying to complete one task, set a deadline that I'll sit and complete this task in this much duration, and then I switch over to the next task. Define your priorities, and in this way you will definitely get to know learn one skill. So one skill that I learned is it is possible to manage everything. But yeah, so this was not my statement at the start of the quarantine, but now I feel that it is very much possible to manage each and everything if you want to.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepalika. You've actually answered two of my questions in one go. Thank you. Toastmaster Amina, would you like to add anything to it?
Well, she's pretty much said whatever I had to say. But one thing I would tell is that learning a new skill is, again, depends. Are you learning a skill because you want to build your resume? Because that is it is okay. What I'm trying to tell is it is all about your motivation. Okay, so we're talking about time management, yes, but it is all about your motivation. It depends on the why factor of why you want to learn the skill. If you want to learn the skill because you want to build your resume or your technical, or do you want to learn a skill because it's a lockdown, since your question started like that, and you want to just have an additional skill. Some people want to read books, some people want to dance, they're learning to play guitar because it's a lockdown. I would say the main thing is, one point we forget trying to be a student or a professional or anything is that we forget to give time to ourselves. So one thing I always try to make note of is, in a day, at least have an hour to myself. So if you're able to allocate at least 1 hour or 1.5 hours, 1 hour is also huge. If you're able to allocate a little time, from that time you can always invest maybe 15-20 minutes into learning a skill, because learning a skill, you don't have to do it in a single day. So my add-on to what Deepalika said is that have some time allocated to yourself so that you can spend it on whichever aspect you want, learning a new skill or spending time with your favorite person, anything. So that is my take on it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina. Toastmaster Joy, would you like to add anything?
Yes, it is beautifully answered actually by first Deepalika and then by Amina. Thank you. One little thing that I would also like to add from my side is what uniquely I learned is that in whichever aspect of your life you give a little bit time, it improves. For example, I had a lot of friends with whom I was not able to spend time. And I was not one of those people who was calling my parents every day because they stay in Amritsar, Punjab, and I stay here. But because of lockdown, I have an evening tea with them every day at 5:30, 6 o'clock. We have a WhatsApp call. They drink tea there, I drink tea here. So my relationship has become better. I was not able to spend a lot of time with my wife, with my mentees, with all other people. But now what's happening is, in whichever relationship specifically I'm able to put more time, that relationship is becoming better. For example, right now, if right before this call, four of my mentees were in my house. One from Nagpur, all the way from Nagpur, was in my house. His name is Manav. I had Lasya, I had Shiva, I had Ravi Teja Peri in my house today. They all understood that. And before that, if Amina and I were in the same meeting together at 3:30. Before that, I was in MOT of my club. Before that, I was in the meeting of kite chartering club. So since morning, so many things are happening, and I'm beautifully able to manage everything on the same time. And they also know, my mentees, that right at 7 o'clock this meeting would start, and with respectfully they all left. I felt bad that I didn't get a lot of time to spend with them, but whatever 1 or 2 hours of quality time we spent with each other was fabulous. And why do you think someone in this quarantine would travel to your house, travel so many kilometers to meet you? And my house is not close by. It's like 40 kilometers from everybody's house, from wherever they are. Just because throughout this quarantine, we were able to spend that quality time with each other online. So they were desperate to meet me. So one golden thing that I've learned is, no matter what you want to improve in your life, just give time to it and it will start manifesting automatically.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Previously, Toastmaster Amina has mentioned about how we learn to play guitar or dance or develop a new hobby. So in the past few months, I have started learning how to dance. I have done it well for the first 2 weeks, but after 2 weeks, there were multiple distractions. Some people would call me and say, let's attend a meeting. Some other would say, we have a deadline to meet. Some other would say, let's start cooking. Or some other would forward a challenge and say, let's take up this challenge. So how do we limit these deviations from the task that you want to accomplish? Toastmaster Amina, would you like to start?
Yeah, I can completely relate with you because most times, I will be completely honest here. I'm not like a master of time. I'm here on the panel because maybe I'm able to manage my time well, but I'm not a master of time. So I do have a struggle with distractions. In lockdown, I tried learning guitar, staying consistent with my dancing, to pick up the habit of reading the books again, and to do cooking regularly. I tried multiple things. I'm somebody who loves trying new stuff. So I totally resonate with you. There will be distractions, to which my suggestion would be that if you have that one particular slot set in your day, let us say you are learning your dancing. Dancing is something, depends on how many days you want to give. You don't want to dance all 7 days a week. Let us say 5 days or something. So if you're going to allot that one particular half an hour time or 1 hour time, have it in your schedule fixed. Even to your friends or anybody, you have to be a little strict about it. So what I usually find myself is that it is hard for me to say no. So if I have my personal engagement, let me say I put 1 hour aside to learn dancing, and somebody of my friend comes up and they're like, let's do this, let's do that. What I end up doing is, for their happiness, I let go of that and I won't do that. Usually we want to enjoy and spend time with friends. What ends up happening is, after a few weeks, I feel guilty and I have not learned anything, and I've like completely left that thing. So I would say, be strict with yourself and also let your friends know. Your friends want you to get better, or that, I'm talking about friends in the term of distraction. If you let them know, they would not disturb you in that particular time at least. Now, coming to other distractions that I usually find is mobile phone. We immediately try to easily get distracted by the notifications that we get. One thing I follow personally is that I have my notification off on all apps. So I don't know if this can work with many people. Many people don't like it because they want to respond to people, but I have it off on all apps except WhatsApp. That also I have it on because I'm a part of Toastmasters. That's it. So I don't like the technology controlling me. I would want to be in control of it. So whenever I find time, I'll open my Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and only then I'm responding. So keep your time quality to yourself, and keep it strict with you, with your friends. That would be my suggestion on how to avoid distractions.
Toastmaster Amina, I have a follow-up question on this, but I'll circle back to you once everybody has done answering. Toastmaster Joy, would you like to add anything to it?
Yes. I am one of those people who does too many works at the same time. And Dipalika has very beautifully put it that there is nothing known as multitasking. Multitasking is a myth. Please don't try it. It does not work at one point of time. There are very few exceptional people who can juggle, who can do stuff, but multitasking does not usually give you quality output. So I am one of those people who does not believe in multitasking. I believe in chunking works. So I just pulled out my calendar. This is how I chunk my work every day at the morning of the day. I write whatever I'm supposed to do and I strike it off. There's a magnetic sticker which I put it to my Almira over here, which is iron. So every day, this is the way I do. Whatever is done, I'll just tick those things and strike them. Or whatever is not done, at the end of the day, I check it. And that is the reason some of the times I'm active till late night. And this is the second one. This is how I plan my entire week. Today is Sunday. So I will start writing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Everything is written over here. So I do not miss anything. Many people ask me, how do you do so much of work? How do I run every day for 1 hour? How do I pray every day for 1 hour? How do I spend time with my parents every day for half an hour, with my wife, half an hour with my mentees, 1 hour? How do I do everything? Just because I chunk all the work. Chunking is nothing but a formula wherein you make slots that you, whatever you like, you would like do everything. But you have to be really strict. There will be distractions, as Amina said rightfully. But if you are diligent, that you might get distracted today, that's okay. You might not do your workout or you might not do your whatever you want to do, but next day you have to make sure that you come back. So this has really worked well in my life, and I would suggest all of you to try these magnetic stickers. I'm not an Amazon sales guy, but these magnetic stickers would cost you any, I think, $300. They're nice. They just stick to your Almira. Just put it over there so that you never miss what you do. It's very easy. Please try it out.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. I have a follow-up question for you also. We'll circle back to you.
Sure.
Toastmaster Dipalika, would you like to add anything?
So I have two things to add to what Toastmaster Amina and Toastmaster Joy said. Set smaller goals, and the second one is reward yourself whenever you achieve your goal. It's very important to keep yourself self-motivated. So the first thing, set smaller goals. If, as Amina said, you cannot dance for 7 days a week. If you plan that I'll dance for suppose 6 hours a week, it's achievable. Now it depends upon you how you divide those 6 hours. It is completely upon the person. The second thing, when I achieve those 6 hours of dancing, I treat myself with an ice cream, whatever I like. So that's my motivation. And then I increase my bar that for the next week, I'll dance for 7 hours. And that is how you keep on gradually increasing your threshold, as well as you keep on polishing your skill, because you are doing it regularly at the same time throughout the weeks. So these are the 2 points that I wanted to add.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dipalika. Let's circle back to Toastmaster Amina with my follow-up question. You mentioned to make a schedule, stick to it, allocate a number of hours and just stick to it. So how practical is it to stick to a schedule? Or are we allowed to have any cheat days?
We are human. The question is, I would say by default, there's nobody. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not a master of time. Neither I don't think if there is somebody that will not have distractions or will cheat upon their schedule or anything. We are human. We have the tendency, and we have to actually. This is where I will tell you one small tip that would work. So sticking to schedules is difficult. It is really difficult. I'm not going to go around telling that Joyce did say make schedules. Making schedule is one thing. Developing that habit took me weeks. Now I also have a board where I have the schedules jotted down. But once you get that habit, sticking to the schedule is hard. I'm not going to say that it is you need to stick to the schedule. No, it's going to be difficult. You'll fail multiple times. I failed months. Like the starting of lockdown, I used to not have proper sleeping hours. I used to sleep irregularly and I used to fail a lot. And I would like 1 week I'm doing good, then the next 2 weeks I'm back to that. So you will fail a lot. It is as long as you have that consistency. And one thing I would say, when you ask that how do you not cheat? You will cheat. Accept that. Okay, you will cheat, but do not go into the guilt trip. I mean, do feel bad about it. Do not feel happy. Do feel bad about it. Regret maybe for a little time, but don't go into that overwhelming situation that, okay, that's it. I cannot manage time. I'm done. No. What I would suggest is that take breaks. Breaks actually help. So when you have a tight schedule to help you keep it going, take minute breaks and do something that makes you happy. When I say break, not like, let us say you're working on an assignment, you take a break, put the laptop aside and just run it through your phone. No, that's not a break. You're using your phone again. What I mean to say is, take that break and use it to do something that will calm you down. Maybe listen to a song. For me, I listen to songs between schedules to calm myself down. For somebody else, it can be going and talking to the family. Now we have our family always by us. I always have my sister. I can go and talk. She'll talk any minute. Or maybe just call a friend and talk. Or watch a small video. Whatever you find, or just basically just put the laptop aside, phones aside, close your eyes and calm down. As long as you keep taking minute breaks every now and then, you'll be able to stick to your schedule. I'll not say 100%, but you will be able to see an improvement.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina. We'll circle back to Toastmaster Joy's question. So you mentioned about creating a to-do list and checking off the things that you have done. What if there is a situation where you have suddenly there is a task that needs to be accomplished immediately and you need to push a few things from today's to-do list to tomorrow's to-do list? So how do you not feel guilty when you do it? If it is something that you need to feel guilty about, then how do you avoid those situations?
Amina's already answered that. Thank you, Amina. I'm a human being. So I'll give you live example. I don't know whether you can see this. Today I was supposed to send this is an email for club coaches. I was supposed to send this by 1 o'clock today. But what happened is my mastermind mentees came home to have lunch with me. So I did not do it. And now they have just left and I'm in this call. I was supposed to send it by 1 o'clock. What am I going to do? I'm going to send it now. So this will happen with all of us, and it happens. We cannot do anything about it because we are not robots. We are human beings, and there's nothing to feel guilty about it. You should feel definitely guilty if you do this again and again and again. It means you're a bad time manager, or you are that person who's not able to slot your life well. So we can do nothing about it, but my only advice is you might do this once, you might do this twice, you might do this 10 times, but at the 11th time, come back and do it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Now we'll jump into some situations specific to your background. Let's start with Toastmaster Dipalika. This is a question specifically targeted towards employees. So imagine a situation where you have taken some time off, went on a vacation. Imagine we are not quarantined and we actually went on a vacation. So once you're back to your work, you have some sort of work that you are supposed to do while you are on your vacation, that chunk of your work, and then your work, like the work that you need to do after your vacation, the regular work. So there will be an overload of work. How do you manage to do all of that without getting overwhelmed with it?
Okay. So the first thing is, I'm that sort of a person who likes to go on planned trips and not the unplanned ones. So if I know that I am going on a planned trip, I'll finish off all my work. Suppose there is some work that needs that was scheduled during my planned trip. If possible, I'll try to manage it somehow. We have something called as backups for everybody. If not me, somebody else can do the same work if possible. So I'll just request that person. So if that is possible, otherwise I'll come back, and if required, staying back in office, that sometimes helps. But it should never be a regular thing because it creates an imbalance to your life. So if staying back for half an hour, if it is okay, or if you can have your coffee at your desk and not chit chat around and just do the work simultaneously, if that helps, if it is just a matter of half an hour, if that helps, you can cover it up in a span of 2 or 3 days. If it's suppose it takes 1.5 hours, and you can spread it across 3 days during the coffee breaks, having your coffee on your desk. This is one thing. Another thing, this happens to me quite often, that on Mondays I'm not in a mood to work, because you already get 2 days of holidays, and on Monday when you return back, you have a lot of work to do, you have a lot of calls scheduled, and everybody waiting for you to fire everything on you. So this happens, but yes, that is what Monday motivation should be, that there's a week along, there's a whole week that is lying there. If you do not start on Monday, you will not be able to wrap it up till Friday. So these two things, I try to wrap up my work as soon as possible, try to prioritize the things. As Toastmaster Joyce said, we make a to-do list, because unless and until you have a checklist, it is very much impossible to see the bigger picture. You never know how much you have piled up unless and until you have a checklist with you.
Thank you,
That's
Toastmaster
my
Deepalika.
answer. Thank you.
I have another follow-up question, which I'm going to ask right away. You mentioned the toughest part to start the task. So how do we overcome that block to just start a work? Because the more we stop ourselves from starting a task, the more time we waste. So how to stop ourselves from just stopping a task?
Okay, so if I know that I have 3 things to do, I'll start with the simpler thing. I'll start with the simplest, because that's what I said, the short-term goal for me. It will take less time, and I know I have completed 1 out of 3. Now I'll go to the moderately, what should I say, a moderately simple or a moderately tough task, and then I'll try to complete that. Obviously, that will take some more time as compared to the previous one, but then I have completed 2 tasks out of 3. So whenever you are prioritizing your work, also prioritize which one you need to do first, because priority on the basis of somebody else. So if I need to submit a report, and if I need to finish off defect fixing in my office, so these are 2 things. Now prioritize which one do you need to complete first, and which one is actually required to be complete first. So it's quite this will take time, this will need some practice, because it's not possible to prioritize everything. As Toastmaster Joy also mentioned, there are so many things that comes at the 11th hour, and you are never prepared for it, but you have to accommodate it in your schedule. So these are
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepalika. Next question is short towards an entrepreneur, Toastmaster Joy. Since you have already spoken a lot about scheduling, you have your own schedule. Your clients or the person that you're working with also has their own schedule. And a lot of times there is a high chance that there is an overlap of schedules where you have some tasks scheduled and that person is free only at that time. So how do you work around the 2 schedules so you will have some common time where you two can sit and discuss?
Okay, one of the first things I always do is, before I fix my slots or schedule with anybody, those of you who have worked with me, you would have already understood it. I will have a fixed slot. So I usually like to fix it that way so that my 2 slots do not clash. But there are chances when they clash because the other person is not available at that time. A lot of Toastmasters initially misunderstood me, and they were a little upset with me that I am very stringent with time. And some of you would have already experienced, if you have worked with me, that because I do 4 jobs on the same day, so I have to really manage my time. And the 5th is I give a lot of time to myself, because I read every day. If I just turn my book, you can find my entire library over here. I spend 1 hour reading every day. So that is another habit that I have. So I have to give myself 4 hours every day, and you don't take that time away from me, no matter how important you are. So I have that problem continuously coming, just in case I am busy with something and someone calls me, pings me. If I'm online, I will immediately respond back to them. that I would like to reschedule this if you guys don't mind. But if it is very, very critical, for example, an urgent event or an urgent training that is to be done tomorrow and there's a last minute update, in that case, I usually do away with my schedule. I accommodate them only in a case of extreme emergency. Otherwise, usually do not fidget around with my time. I'm very strict about it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Roy. I have a follow-up question here. Whenever we fix time slots and assign them to a particular task, there are chances that sometimes we overshoot on those time slots.
Yes.
Let's say I need to write my speech and I give myself 1.5 hours to write my speech. And when approaching towards the end of 1.5 hours, I get a brand new idea, which will make me reframe my entire speech, take some time. So, and at the same time, once that 1.5 hours is done, I have something else scheduled in that time. So
Right.
what do we do at this point? How do we tackle these situations?
I am a champion at this because usually once I've finished my speech or done my report, before submitting it, I will get the best idea before submitting it. It always happens with me, so I know what you're talking. So what I usually do is, if I know that I'm going to take a little bit more time over here, I will usually ask permission to the next person. For example, me and Amina, we're having a discussion and we know that we need another 10 minutes we need to buy. So I'll usually ping Dipalika, with whom I was going to have the next meeting, and I'll ask her, can we meet 10 minutes late? And you will always see me, if you have worked with me, you will find me doing this frequently. If Dipalika says, no, sir, I'm extremely sorry, I have to talk to you because I need to log in within the next 15 minutes. In that case, I'll hold this, go ahead with Dipalika. And whatever I was going to do at 10:30 with whichever work, I will try to accommodate that, but I will try to finish this because I believe that it is very important for us to finish our task. If we leave it halfway, I personally, I do not know how it goes with you, but for me personally, it does not go well. I like to finish my task, whichever I have taken at that point of time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Now we will shoot our next question at our student Toastmaster Amina. This is a common situation where we have our entire semester. We know that we are doing something. We don't know what it is. We know that we are doing something. But when it comes to the time of semester exams, it's that 1 or 2 weeks where we try to cram everything, try to get everything done. So how can we distribute our work throughout the semester so we can avoid that last minute cramming in the last 2 weeks?
Well, you have answered the question itself had the first part, had it answered the question that you asked me, is that we know the semesters, it repeats. All the 8 semesters have the same schedule. I mean, we know when it is going to start. We know when we're going to have our first mid exams, our second mid exams, our practicals, our semesters. They even give us an entire schedule for that. We also know our syllabus well and thorough. And we are very capable, I would say, as be it engineering students or any graduation students, we are very capable of studying by ourselves. I'm not saying you don't need a teacher's help. I'm just saying we are still capable. So we can at least have an outlook of what the syllabus is and understand. So how do we do this is because we know it. It is better that we actually put in a little amount of time every day. When it comes to studying, it is not like dancing. You cannot choose, no, let's have 5 days or 4 days. Studying is something that you will have to put in every day. Sunday, maybe you leave it out. And, but then again, I'm going to be honest here. I'm telling all this from my experience. I was not an A-class student when it came to managing my studies and time. So because I made mistakes, I learned that the better way to do this, watching my peers who manage the time better, is that you don't have to give much time. Actually, you just have to give maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour each day. We anyway attend our classes throughout the day. Apart from that, or even not even that, you can legit just focus in that time during the classes. That is more than enough. Some of my friends, I noticed, they just put their mind when they're in the class, and outside it, they don't even have to put extra time. So as long as you have the dedicated time slot every day and the consistent studying, you will not be left with syllabus to be crammed up in the last minute. Now, this is something which is not alien. This concept everybody knows, every student knows it. The point is nobody does it, or most of us don't. So we always end up cramping it in the last few weeks. So now actually they released that the final year's exams are coming up. So I am a final year student, and they have said that they're going to conduct exam in the last during September. It has to end by the mid-week or the last week. I'm trying to plan all my tasks because I'm also a Toastmaster and I'm an area director. I have so many tasks that I have at hand. So I'm trying to plan them in such a way that I have most of the important ones done now, and I put my entire time into studies now. When I say entire, I don't mean that I'll leave Toastmasters aside, but I have it planned in such a way that I'm going to cover my syllabus well in advance, so that you don't do that one night batting or something. It doesn't get us anywhere except, you know, dark circles, headache. For me, it doesn't work. At least I have migraine. It doesn't work for me. So I would say, like what Toastmaster Joy had said, chunks. That's a very important term when it comes to time management. Make it into small chunks, make it into small syllabus, and have it every, if not every day, at least 5 days a week or 4 days a week, and we will not have anything left to cram up. None of us study the entire book. Come on, we just have to study how much we want to. So I think that would be it. Breaking it up into tasks and be consistent with it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina. Next, I have a question which is open to the entire panel. All of us know that we make mistakes which will cause us to waste time and end up in a situation where we are overwhelmed with work. So how do we identify what are the kinds of mistakes we are making so we can work on those mistakes and improve those to manage our time better?
I will go ahead on this one first. So this is something that I did not even know. Many of us do not know that what is the shrinkage that we have. It's like you have a overhead water tank and it has a hole in it, and every day water is leaking out of it and you don't even know you're losing water. We'll just compare it with time. All of us have those habits. It might be one as stupid as being on social media or maybe just talking to someone excessively, and we do not realize that. So one of the things my mentor in the year 2009, his name is Ramesh Prasad, I told him that I'm not able to manage my time. He gave me this little tip, which had really helped me. He said, Joy, you don't do anything. Just keep a pen and a paper with you handy. And for the next 10 days, write every day whatever you're doing throughout the day. So I actually did not need 10 days. On the fourth day, I had already identified what are the places where I was wasting my time. So you just, the moment you get up in the morning till you sleep, just write everything down. No need to evaluate it or assess it what you are doing, just write it down. Sometimes you will even forget that you have to write. So whenever you remember, just quickly recap before you sleep and write it down. You will be surprised to know that all of you will be able to at least save 2 to 3 hours every day if you just do this one little activity. It will immediately bring out all the areas where you waste your time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Toastmaster Amina and Toastmaster Dipalika, would you like to add anything to it?
Hi Mansa, so sorry I couldn't get your question. There was a connectivity
Okay,
issue.
I'll repeat it. All of us know that we are wasting time, but we don't know how we are wasting time. So how do we identify our mistakes and improve on that?
Okay. So I guess a bit of change in your schedule for whatever you do. Suppose if you are getting up from your bed at 7 a.m. in the morning, try to get up 15 minutes early. This will earn you 15 minutes and this will not lose you anything. It's not very difficult to wake up 15 minutes early. The next thing, as Toastmaster Joy mentioned, it is a great activity. I'll try to implement it and see how can I save, how can I earn more time. Also, as I said, change in activities or change in schedule, this will also help you to, I mean, sometimes we are bored. We are not sure why we are bored, but we are bored out of some of the things. We are stuck in a monotonous life. And that is why we become lazy and then start to do anything that distracts ourselves from this lazy schedule and simply wasting our time on social media or any other platform. So I guess changing your schedule a bit, getting up 15 minutes early, and I mean a 15-minute daily exercise, it will not cost anything but suppose you are losing something, suppose you are still not getting time, you'll at least have a head start in the morning. And then once you're fresh and once your mind is fresh and everything, do your work and try to reduce the time you utilize in every day's work. So suppose if I am writing a piece of code in 10 minutes, I'll try to do it the same piece of code in 9.5 minutes for the next day, and then reducing the amount. So as I mentioned earlier, when you are doing something which you want to be good at, try to increase the amount of work. And if you are doing the same piece of work every day, try to reduce the amount of time that you are utilizing on.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dipalika. Toastmaster Ramina, would you like to add anything to it? This is our last question, and post this will be opening the floor for questions from the audience. So Toastmaster Ramina, would you like to add anything to it?
Okay. So something that Toastmaster Joy has already said is that know where your time goes. So he has given an amazing technique, is that to just note down what you're doing so that you'll know where your time is going. And a better way, I mean, that is obviously nice. Something that I'm a very creative person. So a problem, I mean, I'm not boasting, but I'm somebody, the problem with creative people is that they need something fun and creative and attractive, else I'll not be able to do it. So to keep things a little spiced up, what I do is I actually have it here. I have a journal. So this is a 2020 journal, although right now it doesn't make sense because I cannot plan anything outside my house. What I do is I journal every day. Journaling is basically writing how your day went. And if you want, you can go deeper into where you spent and what tasks you did, or what made you happy, or what you learned. So what I usually do is at the end of the day, I write things that made me happy. I write things, some new skill if I've learned anything, and something new that I've learned. And more than often, I have it planned. Tomorrow also, I write down under that day the things that I want to do. So basically, what did Toastmaster Joy said, but I like to spice up a little. I mean, with the creativity. Some people try to journal with some, I mean, they cut a little bits of paper, add here and there, cut some magazine or something like that. That keeps me a little creative and motivated to open that book. When I open that book a few days later, I'm able to look at that. So I'm like, okay, I did this much. The days I feel unmotivated, I look at that and I'm like, okay, I was able to do this, which means I can do it today as well. So to sum up, what I would say is you should know where your time goes. And the only way you can do it is how Toastmaster Joy said. Just write it. How else are you going to know? Nobody's going to come and tell you. Here you're having meeting recording done, right? If you want to know what mistakes are there, you go back to the recording and we look at it. Nobody's recording your day. Nobody's vlogging your entire day and posting it on YouTube. So you will have to note down what you're doing throughout the day to know where your time goes. Then you will know what are your mistakes and you can work accordingly on them.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramina. Now let's open the floor for questions. To ensure that we don't spend a lot of time on this, please drop all your questions in the chat window and I'll share them with the panelists. Okay. We have a creative question here. Can we buy time? Would anyone like to answer this question? No, okay. It's 7:50. We have 5 more minutes for all of you to share your questions and I'll be asking them to the panelists. Okay. One question that we have is, amidst all of our tasks, all of our regular tasks, how do we manage to have time just for ourselves? Not doing a task that someone gave us or spending time with family. It's like time just for ourselves. How do we manage to find that?
We call it the me time. So this is also something that I've learned from my trainer, Cindy Trim. She's from US. She said, if you do not have me time, you do not have time. A person who cannot spend time for themselves obviously are bad time managers. So anybody who says I cannot do exercise, I cannot spend time with my family, I cannot get up on time, I cannot sleep on time is definitely a bad time manager. So it starts slowly. You start with 5 minutes for yourself. Just sit, switch off everything. Just sit. It just takes, see, you have to take baby steps before you take adult steps. So if you are expecting yourself to be an excellent time manager just after this particular panel discussion, it's not going to happen. You will have to give yourself 5 minutes. Today, I'm not going to do, we call it a Chinese technique. To make any habit, just do it every day. For example, you want to do exercise the way Amina puts her videos online on WhatsApp status. You can check her doing workout. So you can't be like Amina in a day. What you have to do is, I know that I need to do exercise and I don't have time. You do that one push-up at annual brain. I'm going to exercise. When I started running, I would just run half a kilometer. And I did that for 6 months. Today I run every day 10 kilometers and I have time for it. So we call it that it's a Japanese technique of doing whatever you want to do, no matter what happens. If you please remember one thing, you need to have time for yourself, because if you do not have time for yourself, I believe you don't have time for anything else on this planet.
Toastmaster Amina or Deepalika, would you like to add anything to this?
As Toastmaster Joy rightly mentioned that we have to have our me time, and that is where you increase your potential, or you develop as a human being. I'm not sure how, but unless and until you give yourself time, or unless and until you find time to work upon yourself, how you think that you will grow as a person? With each passing day we grow as a person, right? So it is not going to happen in one day, or it is not going to happen on each of your birthdays. It's a gradual process and it takes place every day. So give yourself some time. What I particularly do is I like reading books. I started with giving 15 minutes of time before sleeping. So whenever I plan that I'll sleep early today, or I'll plan that I'll sleep late today, I'll just devote 15 minutes of time for reading books. Now that hobby or that activity that developed, that grew, and now I can sit with the book for the whole day. That's not a boring thing for me or anything, but at least it is now in my habit that I need to have something to read, either a newspaper or a piece of article or anything before my eyes before I go to sleep. So it's kind of a daily stuff for me. And
Thank you, Toastmaster
because I
Deepalika.
read, so it increases your knowledge. Whenever you read, you grow as a leader.
Thank you. We have one last question. Somehow social media is helping us to know more about our passion. Example, a dancer might get ideas and ways through social media. So how can we manage time while surfing over social media? Toastmaster Amina, would you like to answer this question?
Okay. So this is regarding, just correct me if I'm wrong. If you want to develop a new skill or learn something and you're researching about it on social media, how do you want to manage time around that? Correct?
Yes.
Well, like I said, I had a couple of things. I tried out many things when I started during this lockdown, learning guitar, cooking, everything. And all of that, nobody in my house is a master guitar player or master cook. Even my mom doesn't cook that amazing. But so all this I learned from social media, obviously, from YouTube or from Pinterest or Instagram. How you manage your time around it is, first of all, again, do not take in too much information. So what I've been doing recently is that I've been trying to learn dance. So I mean, I do dance, but I'm not like that good of a dancer. So I just try to learn a choreography or a routine. So what I do is I do not do it like all the time. Like I don't put too much time into researching it, because you're trying to learn a skill. You have to practically you have to be left with time to applying it also. If you're going to spend all your time on that, you're not going to be left with time for that. So my suggestion would be, it is very easy to get distracted on social media. Social media distracts you to pick up your phone. Once you pick up your phone, you'll easily get distracted, because the algorithms are termed this way. You open a video, it's, relatable suggestions come up. You're trying to shop, relatable suggestions come up. And our mind gets deviated, and then we go into that. And before you know it, I'm watching a small 5-minute DIY craft, and I'm 1 hour into watching. I went into another YouTube channel. I crossed 10 different channels. It's been more than an hour. So it is about stopping that temptation to click on another video. It is really hard. That is the only simple thing, to stop that temptation. You come there to see your dance routine. Let us say maybe you're trying to learn hip hop or something. You open that video, watch that video. Maybe you want to watch another one. Have it in your mind that 10 minutes I'm putting time into seeing this. 50 minutes I practice the dance routine. Stick to that. Have your actually use your clock. The clock thing that we have on our phone inbuilt app, it is not only for 10 different alarms, 5:55, 6:65, 6:10. It's not only for that. It actually helps if you set a reminder that 15 minutes I'm watching this video, remaining 30 minutes I'm going to dance. So you will not remember that because social media is going to distract you. But if you have that set on your phone, the notification will pop up and you can have labels. What I do is I'm like, get out of this app, and I have an exclamation. So it makes me feel guilty. I feel like the phone is yelling at me. So have some sort of a label set up and you're like, go dance now or get your ass off. I mean, sorry for the language, move away and start doing. So set the alarm, it'll actually work. That's the only tip I have.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amina. I thoroughly enjoyed moderating this discussion. I especially loved the part where I made you think and you three made me think on how to manage my time better. So I would like to thank all three of you for taking time out of your schedule and giving your time to us. With this, I would like to hand it over to the presiding officer for today, our area director of Area G3, Toastmaster Chisti. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy, Toastmaster Dipalika, and Toastmaster Amina. And to all fellow Toastmasters here, please understand that each one of these successful people had just 24 hours on that clock, exactly the same time that we had. But they were able to chalk out time. They were able to succeed in their professional careers, academic careers, and their businesses. At the same time, they're excelling in the Toastmasters. So the next time when somebody says, I don't have time for the meeting, please help them understand that timing a day is all about three critical things that we have seen today. The first one is to be a good planner. Be diligent in your plan and learn to say no if you have to say no. The second most important aspect for managing the time is execution. Whenever you plan anything, bring about discipline in your execution. Don't procrastinate. Please stick to your routine. When Toastmaster Joy said, see the bigger picture, keep strictness to your time plan, he meant to say that you will have to inculcate a habit of discipline in your execution pattern. That's very important. Don't force this. Once it takes a shape of a habit, you don't need to force it. It'll come subconsciously. The third most important thing, when Amina said, give time to yourself, and Dipalika said, set small goals and see the bigger picture. It's all about embracing what you have done on the whole day. Learn from what we have done throughout the day so that the next day comes much better and brings in another 24 hours. Please mind well, you only have that time as the successful people have. It's just about how we plan, execute, and embrace makes the whole difference. I hope this session was useful to all of you, and I believe each one of us, including me to start with, will inculcate all these learnings from my day-to-day life. Thank you. Over to Sam.
Hey, thank you each and everyone who took your time out of your busy schedules on a Sunday evening. And it's exactly 8 o'clock, and we thought running out of time on a theme that is based on time management is something not good. So thanks for making it on time, and hope we come back with our next series. And please do share your feedback in the chat section with what kind of theme you'd like to have from Area G3. With this, I would like to declare the meet as official.